I was wondering if Nicholas can just do like a hard surface thing where, we can see how he approaches, like, let's say a armor sort of a thing, and then like just render it out and whatever.
Yeah, sure. We can also
I mean,
use
it doesn't have to be an entire character or something. I mean, it could just be like,
we can use a square.
that's nice.
I can show you. Yeah, I can show you guys a square, and we can make it hard surface and cyber or whatever. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just talk about the metal in general. Okay, so let's say this is our surface. First, we need to fill it in. Okay, so let's just kind of figure this guy out. But yeah, like, okay, if we think about like a metal, let's use your character's color as an example. So usually I'll use like an airbrush, and I'll just kind of like start to paint in my lights and my darks. So let's just get it like this. No. So you kind of just treat it as like any other basic surface. You want a base color to start out. You don't want to really dive in too deep. All right. Okay, our light's coming from a different direction. So let's say our light is coming from up here. All right. Let's just do that. All right. So this is our light. Okay. Just for reference. And so basically, I want to make sure, like I was saying, you just want to kind of treat it like any other surface that you're painting. You want to get your lights, your darks, your base color in, a little bit of bounce light. And then once you have that, since we're going for a metallic kind of substance, we have to think the next thing I would probably do is try and get some really nice highlights. And the way to do that is I find my edges, and I just kind of like, because this is a cube, I want to make sure that those edges are really sharp and clean. And especially with like, in terms of hard surface, that's something that I want to achieve. Like I want to create nice, clean lines, hard edges, which is also clean, and what I'm going to do is choosing that one color, I'm going to bump it up to about around here. And again, using my airbrush, I'm just going to paint along that edge, just going to kind of get in there. And again, I'm trying to paint along the edges, trying to get a little bit of all of them, just a little bit. So already, that's kind of looking nice. But again, I'm going to do the same thing for the other sides of my shape, whatever it is that you're painting. I'm going to use the eyedrop tool to pick up that color. And again, I'm going to bump it up to about over here, maybe a little bit over to have a little more color. And again, I'm just going to kind of paint along the edges where light is presumably hitting and bouncing off. But keep in mind, I'm not going to paint light on this edge. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because this is my hottest area. And it's going to look really weird if you look here, like already that doesn't look nice. It ruins the illusion. that this is a hard surface and that it's going to be highly reflective and shiny. Okay. So I want to make sure that I'm being respective, not respective, that I'm thinking of these edges, I'm thinking of my surfaces. How do I keep it in such a way that it looks like a three-dimensional form that's being hit by light and is creating shadows and reflecting light, bounce light? How am I going to do this? Like, I need to think about all these different edges, because you could easily lose it, like just by making this really bright, I can lose that edge all of a sudden. And it all of a sudden doesn't make sense. I got a lot of bright light coming from one direction and then, yeah, so it ruins it.
Yeah.
So I want to be mindful of that. So again, I'm just kind of like painting along the edges. Because, when you look at metal, again, best thing to do is look at reference. But when you look at them, there's like this really interesting transition of almost like a gradient that's kind of fusing to one area. It really depends on the surface, but because you'll find like so many different kinds of metals, and especially if something's rusted or whatever. But let's just keep going with what we got right here. So already, this is kind of looking cool, but we need to keep going. So again, I'm going to go to my color right over here. I'm going to bump it up a bit. And I'm just going to try and find some areas that I can start to make this transition. Okay. A little bit up here, just a little bit. Okay, cool. Already it's looking better, but it's not quite there yet. We have to create more highlights.
Yeah, right.
So let's find some areas that we can do that. So obviously we got our edges here. And what we can do, actually, you know what? Let's just kind of like select the whole thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to go even hotter. We're going to go about like up here. And we're just going to kind of like get into those corners. We're going to kind of like go along the edge again, into the corners here. To get even hotter. And already it's kind of getting there. And we're just going to kind of like do the same thing. We're going to go back into here and find some areas where we can go a little bit hot, get into that section, a little bit more here. Maybe we can actually create like maybe a little bit of a rim. Or like, okay. And let's go over here. Let's take this color and just kind of like have it go down. And probably over here as well. Let's just go a little hotter. So already, like, it's starting to create a little more definition.
Yeah.
A little bit harder, but
yeah.
We still need to get that kind of metallic look. We got the gradation now. We have some of the highlights, maybe we can add like another one over here. Let's see. That, and then over here as well. But already, like, that's starting to feel like it has some nice hard edges, but also we're starting to get some kind of, we're getting somewhere with this. Okay, So how do we add that kind of like that sheen? Something to make it look a little bit more metallic. So what I do is that brush that I kind of shared with, that I shared with you guys. That's one brush that I use for this kind of thing. But what I do is I got to kind of find areas where I can break up this this gradient. So I'll pick up some of these kind of colors and start kind of brushing into them. Like all of a sudden that changes it again, you know. But I don't know, this thing's kind of cool. I like that
Yeah.
we could kind of like use this design, just kind of like yeah. But like in terms of the design, like I would say just use the same mentality from the previous notes for your other design.
Yeah.
You know, like you can keep your lines, but like yeah, try to like solve a lot of these ideas, you know. You know, there's a lot of attention down here with this bright stuff.
Yeah.
I would say you know, maybe push it back, like try to create more attention up here.
Yeah.
You know, like you could technically use this gun as like a path. You know, maybe it's like everything's kind of bright here, 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 here. And that just kind of like leads your eye, you know, through your design.
Yeah.
You know, because everything's really hot down here, my attention goes down here. You know? Yeah. But yeah, no, like take the time to like render out some of these things. You know, even with round objects like this, you know, you could definitely You can definitely find ways to like ways to push it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
say like it doesn't need to be 100% hard surface. Like if this like it's the same principle that we just went over. You're going to like if we simplified this, let's say actually that's not that's so I'm using if you have trouble with edges or making something look clean, definitely try and use the pen tool.
Right. Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get used to, but when you get used to it, it really pays off for like if you're struggling with edges.
Yeah. I'm actually used to a different pen tool because I use Illustrator a lot, and I use that a lot more.
It's not too far off. I think the pen tool in Illustrator is better.
Yeah.
But they generally, do the same thing, So if that was, let's say, our color over here,
Yeah.
Again, like finding those areas where you can fully take advantage of those edges will really help sell your idea, your shape. So already that alone is already telling me a lot, and we can just do the exact same thing that we did over here,
Yeah.
Find, don't do that. Find areas where you would have like your hottest, brightest area, getting hit by light, take advantage of those edges. Already there, like that's already feeling really good,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have a lot of that green, that could easily be like, it's, some bounce light.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
could totally do that. And it's like already like, bam, you got like something that looks rendered and like a material.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in a matter of a few, like just like paying attention.
Yeah.
Like taking the time to like just do that to the edge is already making a big difference,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I hope that answered
Oh yeah.
your question
Yeah,
and
definitely.
and the other question about hard surface.
Yeah. I mean, it's a simple philosophy now that I see it actually.
Yeah, like just doing that one thing. You already did, more than like 100 hours of rendering just in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Just that one simple thing.
Yeah.
Finding those edges really helps. It comes back to edge control as well. What's soft, what's round, what's hard. That kind of stuff is also something you need to think about when you want to separate between different areas. Like, coming back to this section, we have a separation here. We have some kind of light coming within our substance, our material. And we also did a bit of VFX, which does happen, like especially like this right here, this is considered VFX, in a 2D animated series or a 3D animated series, you're gonna get your producer or your director asking you, hey, you know that cool design you made? How exactly would this look in our show? Like, how would it look like final? Because like the guys in, you know, the FX department, they need a sample of what they should be aiming for, you know, or the guys in 3D FX, you know, they need to have something that inspires them, that tells them like, oh, okay, this is what we need to do. And then, you know, they love you, they pray to you every night, you know, they can't wait to see the guide that you give them to help them do their job and spend more time with their families, you know. It's going way too deep, but in reality that's what happens, you know. You want to make sure everyone can just get to the part that really matters and where everyone can just enjoy the process. And there's less questions, you know. Everyone here is meant to provide answers to these problems, you know. That's our job. You know. All right, cool. I'm gonna send these in the chat for sure.